Welcome to Airplay Escape. Please consider subscribing to my Patreon account for the full audiobook. Thank you for your support. Football, the strongest center in history, Episode 91. Toulouse is also not easy to deal with. Prince's Park Stadium. The atmosphere was very warm. The winter break of more than half a month has made fans look forward to the second half of the schedule. Although for Paris Saint-Germain fans, they are still a little worried about the turmoil of the team change. Originally, the momentum of the team was very good, but suddenly there was a change of coach. Of course, Fadian's cards are big enough that Paris fans decide to wait and see for a while. Although the game is still about 2 hours away, it has already begun to have quite a few fans. At this time, some fans saw the team's starting lineup for this game on the news website of the mobile phone. Ronaldo substitute? What? Fake? Really substituted? I wipe. Many fans were stunned. Joke. Ronaldo was the team's top scorer in the first half of the season. The biggest guarantee for goals. 50% of the balls were scored by him. In this case, in the first game of the start of the second half of the season, Ronaldo came off the bench? What the hell is going on here? Not just fans. Even the reporters in the media gallery were stunned. What's going on? How did it come off the bench? Ancelotti decided to let Kevin Gameiro play the main and Ronaldo come off the bench? Wouldn't that be a bit too wasteful? In the media gallery, journalists talked a lot. So, Carlo Ancelotti decided to let PSG start walking on the ground. Maybe it's a higher level of instruction. The Middle Easterners want to make Paris play beautifully. I think. Although the previous Paris style of play was wide open, it was not without ornamentation, yes. Ronaldo's goal was still quite beautiful, many journalists in Paris said. And at this time in another corner of the stands. In the media seats, there are many Oriental faces. They are media from the Celestial Empire. Now, at the Parc des Princes, in addition to the reporters of France, that is, the Celestial Empire has the most journalists. They were all here to follow and report on Ronaldo. After all, Ronaldo's popularity in the country is so hot. Fans love to watch Ronaldo news. The news media, of course, wants to satisfy the audience. They were also stunned when they got their starting lineup in Paris. Ronaldo didn't even start? This gives them a look at Jill. I wipe, Ancelotti, this fat man, is this not waiting to see Ronaldo? It can't be that Ronaldo really offended him by going to deliver the plane to Camber, right? It's possible. Is Ancelotti careful too? Putting Ronaldo, who has scored 50% of the goals for the team, on the bench, Ancelotti really has a big heart. Oh, wait. If this game doesn't go well, then Ronaldo will be back, an older journalist said. Everyone nodded. A striker who scored almost 30 goals in half a season. How can it be overlooked? Right at this time, the players started coming out to warm up. The current Ronaldo is not the original nobody. When his figure appeared on the pitch, the cheers that resounded at the scene were the most special. In the stands, fans chanted Ronaldo's name. Hold his jersey high. There are also posters specially made for Ronaldo. In just half a season, he has conquered the fans of Paris. He is now the brightest darling among Parisian fans. Who made him a striker? The striker would have been the most talked about position on the pitch. After all, goal scorers will always get more attention. This is also reflected in the value. The top of the price increase ranking is basically the forward. Someone will spend tens of millions, even hundreds of millions of euros, on strikers. But if this price is placed on the defender, it is very exaggerated. This is true even today, when the player's value bubble is so serious. Ronaldo applauded as he emerged from the player's tunnel. He looked as usual, without any expression of dissatisfaction. And today's fans are also very face-giving. When Ronaldo came out, the cheers were particularly enthusiastic. While the players on both sides are warming up, Toulouse head coach Casanova is watching the Paris starter. To be honest, he was surprised that Carlo Ancelotti didn't choose Ronaldo to start. After all, it was such a goal-scoring and awesome striker. As soon as Ancelotti arrived, he gave his starting spot. It's quite a risky move. Is Ancelotti sure to build a very good squad for Paris Saint-Germain in a short period of time without using Ronaldo? It's impossible. Carlo Ancelotti has only been in office for 2 weeks. It is absolutely impossible for him to integrate his tactical ideas with the players in Paris in such a short period of time. In that case, why? What about not using the previous system first? Casanova couldn't figure it out a bit. If you can't figure it out, you simply don't want to. After the players returned from warm-up, Casanova also fine-tuned the tactics. The previous tactics were mainly aimed at Ronaldo. So there are quite a few anti-cross parts. And now, Casanova directly allows the team to shrink into the box and defend the center. Toulouse is not a strong team, and the away game in Paris is of course based on a steady counter-attack. Now that Ronaldo is not on it, it is still a good thing for Toulouse. They can concentrate on defending in the middle. Anyway, even Paris has a wide cross. Without Ronaldo, with Toulouse's centre-back's high-altitude ball defensive ability, Kevin Gameiro, who is only 172 centimeters tall, has no chance. Paris can only tear apart the iron barrel formation of Toulouse by passing under its feet. Merely. What is the effect in the case of a run-in that is not in place? Casanova is skeptical. So, he suddenly had some new ideas for this game. He was a fast winger against himself. Brute from Ottoman explained. Watch out for counterattacks later. Play your speed, Casanova said. Episode 92, Lost the Ball. Okay, audience. Welcome to the 2011 to 2012 French Première Division, round of 20. Paris Saint-Germain host Toulouse. In front of the television, the voice of the famous commentator Daniel Leo came. At this point, the television is pointed at the players on both sides who are playing. In front of Kevin Gamero. The camera stayed for a long time. Kevin Gamero, the striker brought in by Paris Saint-Germain's summer transfer window, is worth 15 million euros. However, after 2 rounds of the league, he was given a strong position by Ronaldo from the Celestial Empire, who came out of Paris Saint-Germain's own youth academy, and this game, he got the chance to start again. Ronaldo, on the other hand, was on the bench. It just so happened that at this time, the camera also turned to the bench. After giving Ronaldo a dozen seconds long close-up, the camera locked onto Ancelotti. The meaning of this set of lens language is very obvious. Carlo Ancelotti, why did he choose Kevin Gamero to start and put Ronaldo on the bench? How will this affect Paris Saint-Germain? That's only known from the start of the game. After the game starts. As most people expected. Toulouse, playing away from home, has adopted a very conservative stance. Almost all of them retreated to the backfield and easily did not come out. Laid out an iron barrel array. Against the barrel formation, Paris Saint-Germain is actually very experienced. If it had been before, they would have only had to pass the ball through Ronaldo's point into the box. Or use Ronaldo as a wall to counter the team's offensive. Both of these work. After all, Ronaldo's body is placed here. However, after changing to Kevin Gamero, you can't do this. Because of passing the ball into the air. This basically meant that Paris Saint-Germain gave up attacking. So, you can only walk on the ground. 10 minutes before the game, it was very dull. Paris Saint-Germain passed in the Toulouse penalty area, but could not find a breakthrough. Mean tried to pass the man, but after the first one, the defender poked the ball away. Kevin Gamero has a great range of activities. He frequently withdrew from the box to receive and pass the ball. But on the other hand, he was unable to create effective shots. 10 minutes of play. The two teams combined had only 1 shot on goal. And the shot attempt belonged to the visiting Toulouse. After Toulouse had a counterattack in the 6th minute of the game, Ottoman striker Brute fired a shot from outside the box that went high under the interference of midfield defender Matuidi. Besides, neither side has been able to create a threatening offensive. Especially Paris Saint-Germain. Empty has the advantage of possession, but can't find a chance to shoot. Aggression is like constipation. Carlo Ancelotti's side are having a problem with their attacking organization right now, and they can't figure out what they can do against Toulouse's iron bucket formation. Kevin Gamero worked hard, but obviously he was alone in the box, and when Kevin Gamero stepped out of the box, Toulouse's defense was tighter. In the face of such a barrel formation, I think Ancelotti has to think of something. At the commentary table, many commentators said one after another. Daniel Leo also shook his head. The best thing to do now is to let Ronaldo play immediately. Indeed, the weapon to break through dense defense is a strong high school forward. Especially the kind that also has the ability to shoot from a long distance. The camera was also given to Paris Saint-Germain's dugout. Ancelotti was talking to Makelele about something. Makelele was also visibly frustrated. As Ancelotti's assistant, he is very optimistic about Kevin Gamero. But judging by the performance of these 10 minutes, Kevin Gamero has clearly not found a rhythm yet. Moreover, in the face of the opponent's iron barrel array, he really had no more options. Head to head. Look at Kevin's little body. Makelele immediately shook his head and dismissed the idea. What do I say, Claude? Carlo Ancelotti didn't seem bothered by the situation on the pitch. Instead, he smiled. As if everything on the field had nothing to do with him. Well, I admit, you're right. Makelele shook his head and said, are you going to let that kid come out when now is not the time? Ancelotti said. At least wait, he thought, until start the second half, right? However, time does not wait. In the 26th minute of the first half, Paris Saint-Germain, who had been unable to attack, conceded a goal. After Kevin Gamero received the ball at the edge of the box, he didn't pass the ball again. Instead, he decided to go it alone. He quickly turned and swept the ball past a defender before facing opposing centre-back Fofana. He chose to smash the ball with his right foot. As a result, the ball was stabbed away by Fofana. Subsequently, Toulouse launched a quick counterattack. Toulouse midfielder Machadou turned around and kicked the ball to the wing after receiving the ball near the center circle. Toulouse winger Lee Avier stopped the ball in his chest just before the ball was about to fly off the touchline, and then stepped forward with the ball. In the twinkling of an eye, what was originally a situation of the siege of Paris turned into a quick counterattack from Toulouse. The two fullbacks in Paris, as well as the central defender Nicolas Sacco, pressed up. Now only Matuidi and centre-back Kamara are left in the back. And the two strikers of Toulouse also pressed up. In an instant, it became a 2-on-2 situation. Machadou cut inside with the ball and then shoved the ball into the ribs of the box. Brute inserted into the box at high speed and then pushed directly without stopping the ball. The ball is very fast. Sirigu was not able to react. The football is already in the goal. 26th minute of the game. Paris Saint-Germain conceded a goal first. Episode 93, Ronaldo, we want Ronaldo. Toulouse's counterattack. It's fast, it's dangerous. Paris Saint-Germain's defense has been severely tested. Machado's pass. Brute. Ghoul. The narrator's speech speed is like a machine gun, and the words are constantly jumping out. At this time on the pitch, the Toulouse players were extremely excited to celebrate. On the sidelines, Toulouse coach Casanova did the same. He jumped straight up in the dugout, his arms swinging, and the expression on his entire face was distorted. This shows how excited this Francie manager is. Away from home. The plan he made before the game was almost perfectly in the direction he had envisioned. Hold on. Steal one when you have the chance. Now it seems. What a success. Moreover, these 20 minutes of the game can also be seen. Kevin Gamero and the rest of Paris Saint-Germain's players have little rapport at all. In addition, he must constantly cooperate to make opportunities. When facing the Iron Barrel team, a center who can't fight hard and hard to score a goal must rely on cooperation with teammates to open the gap. But he's biased. H's teammates have a poor rapport. This is difficult. Barry's players were also speechless. Can't attack for a long time, someone steals one. This kind of thing is too normal. After all, in football, there are many accidents. And the other side came for the counterattack, facing the counterattack of two fast wingers, let alone Barry. Even any team in this situation will have a toothache. On the whole line, the opponent's counterattack is 2-2. Who can stand this? Sirigu is also not a god and can save such a quiet distance shot. Matuidi and Makara looked at each other, although this pot was not for the two of them, but the opponent did break through from the two of them and hit the ball into the goal. But they really can't be blamed for that. 2-on-2 situation, and the court is still so wide. What an area the two of them can cover. Even if it is a god-level defender, it is inevitable to lose the ball in this situation. So, now Paris Saint-Germain is difficult. And it's very hard. The other party must have continued to hold on. The offensive effect in the first half was not good. What to do next? The coaching staff has to have new instructions. Ancelotti also had a headache. Actually, it's different from Makelele. He is actually more optimistic about Ronaldo. Makelele was a world-famous player when he was a player, but as a coach, he was still too dish. Coaching a team is not just a matter of tactical ideas. You also need to control the dressing room and you need to continue the win. No tactic is as important as the victory. If Carlo Ancelotti has been losing consecutive games in order to implement a ground-based attacking system at Paris Saint-Germain, I'm afraid his position won't last long. At this point, Ancelotti felt like a mirror. But there's another thing about coaching, which is being able to control the dressing room, which means that the main, core players can listen to you. For example, Ronaldo. Ronaldo is young, but Carlo Ancelotti investigated before moving into the team. This kid is very popular in the dressing room and is also the main attacker of the team. During the Comburette period, Paris Saint-Germain's attack was basically inseparable from the high school striker from the Celestial Empire. But Ronaldo's act of seeing off Comburette seemed to Ancelotti to be a little less attentive to himself. He was worried that he would not be able to suppress Ronaldo after coming, so he sent Kevin Gamero in the first game. He wanted to tell Ronaldo with a win that Barry could have won without you, but on the other hand, slapped in the face by reality. This Toulouse is not a fish belly deliberately kneaded haphazardly. Instead, it hit back on the road. It's not easy to do this time. Toulouse was thought to be a mid-range team, and Paris Saint-Germain, sitting at home, should have little problem winning this opponent. But who would have thought that Toulouse, who was playing away, would actually put on such a posture? What made Ancelotti even more unexpected was his team also conceded goals. How to do it now? Makelele also opened his mouth, unable to say anything. At this time, the televised footage was given to Ronaldo, who was sitting on the bench. Ronaldo was expressionless at this time, watching the pitch with his teammates on the bench. Let Ronaldo come off the bench, perhaps Carlo Ancelotti's mistake, to be scored first by Toulouse, and this time Paris Saint-Germain is in trouble. If Carlo Ancelotti hadn't won his first game, he would have had a bad time at Bari. This is to be expected. Ancelotti is a famous man though. But it will also be compared. His predecessor won the halftime championship. If he loses as soon as he comes up, how is it possible to serve the public? First of all, those media who are afraid that the world will not be chaotic are enough for Ancelotti to drink a pot. At this moment, the scene suddenly made a sharp boo. The camera hurriedly switched to the field. Fight back. Toulouse's counterattack is coming again. The commentators were stunned. Because this time, Toulouse's counterattack is even more imposing. 3-2. Moment. Barry's backline has suffered the biggest crisis. when the Toulouse striker once again sent the ball into the Paris Saint-Germain goal. The scene fell into a short dead silence. 0-2. Paris Saint-Germain before the first half was over. It's already 0-2 behind. 1 goal behind and 2 goals behind are completely different situations. Toulouse, which has 2 balls in hand, is even more fearless this time. How to break through the iron barrel array is a world-class problem. No matter what team faces this situation, it is tricky. Ancelotti was also stunned. What the? It's a bit of bad luck. If you lose, Ancelotti looked at the bench. Right at this time, there seems to be a commotion in the stands. First, there was a quiet confusion. Then, it became a chorus call. Sound from far and near. Ancelotti heard it very clearly. Fans at the Parc des Princes stadium were chanting, "Ronaldo. We want Ronaldo." Episode 94, The Ascended King. The sound of the stadium is so loud. It's like a tsunami. Swept everything on the scene. Everyone looked at Ancelotti. Even the Toulouse players looked at the sidelines. This scene is so interesting. It's not uncommon for fans to collectively chant a player's name. This sound, even after being silenced by the TV broadcast, clearly reaches everyone's ears. Even viewers watching live TV heard it. Not to mention the audience at the scene. In the media gallery, Paris journalists were impressed by the fans' cries. There is obviously such a great center in the lineup that you don't need to use Kevin Gamero. Hihi, is Kevin Gamero worth as much as Ronald? On the German transfer market website, Ronaldo's worth has reached 50 million euros, and how much is Kevin Gamero? Journalists don't care about tactical styles and whatever. Many of them don't know much about the ball, so before each big game, there is always a media calculation to calculate the value of the two teams. The team with a higher value is stronger. There's basically nothing wrong with that. And the reporters of the Celestial Empire showed horror on their faces. When was a player from the Celestial Empire so loved by the fans? When he was behind, he was shouted by the audience. This is simply the treatment that Ronaldo, Messi, and Ronaldo can only enjoy as a player of this level. How can the reporters of the Celestial Empire think about it these days? Such a scene would actually appear on a player from the Celestial Empire. It's so impressive. Shocked. Meanwhile, soon a reporter took out his mobile phone and recorded all the voices at the scene. It's conceivable. If such a face shift appears on domestic social media, how popular it will be. Now, the problem is on Ancelotti's side. It was already the 32nd minute of the first half. 13 minutes left before the end of the first half, counting injury time. It is estimated that there will be 14 minutes, 15 minutes. This time is not long, not short. Even if you want to substitute, should you wait until the end of the first half? However, the voice of the fans in this stadium is probably impossible for anyone to ignore. After the start of the game, the call continued. If Ancelotti doesn't replace Ronaldo, they won't give up. As a result, even the players on the pitch began to show instability. If you concede another goal because of this, Ancelotti wants to turn the momentum around and it will be even harder. It's not just this game. The same goes for future competitions. So, change or not. This is a problem. The picture of the TV locked on Kevin Gamero. The most embarrassing person in this call is not Carlo Ancelotti, but the center forward who replaced Ronaldo in the starting lineup. Speaking of which, he is also quite pitiful. After arriving at Bari, he did not win the first 2 games. After that, he sprained his knee during training and missed the injury for a month and a half. When he comes back, the starting center is basically nothing for him. Ronaldo secured the starter with 1 goal after another. And he can only sit on the bench and wait for his opportunity. Finally, Ancelotti came. He also started the first game. Originally thought that this was the beginning of his renewed victory over Ronaldo. I didn't expect that. On the pitch, such a scene was encountered. Kevin Gamero is also quite aggrieved. He hasn't played a full game in half a year. It's less than 45 minutes into the game now, and it's normal to have no performances. Who doesn't need an adaptation period? Moreover, the 2 goals conceded have little to do with him. At least, Kevin Gamero believes that these 2 goals have little to do with him. Losing the ball is the pot of defenders and goalkeepers. How can the striker be blamed? That doesn't make sense. Why don't Barry's fans blame Sacco, don't blame Kamara, don't blame Matuidi? Do you want to get by with yourself? Kevin Gamero's face was ugly. This is really humiliating for a striker. However, what can he do? The mouth grows on someone else. And if you don't score again, it's only a matter of time before you're replaced. It's even quite possible. Himself will be replaced now. Kevin Gamero looked to the sidelines. Sure enough, Ronaldo has already risen from the bench and gone to warm up. This scene simply made Kevin Gamero's heart die. He knew Ronaldo's strength. If he couldn't do anything in this game, he was repositioned by Ronaldo. Then after yourself. I'm afraid I really can only be a substitute with peace of mind. Himself a Francie international. To be a substitute for Ronaldo. Simply don't treat the international football as dry food. Ronaldo got up and warmed up. The commentator Daniel Leo was shocked. accompanied by his words. The whole stadium fell into cheers. Every run of Ronaldo, leg pressing, leg lifting, pulling up. All were cheered. The atmosphere at the Parc des Princes stadium instantly became warm. Ronaldo, Ronaldo, Ronaldo. Even if it is just a warm-up, such a cry is still loud and loud. It is enough to see his place in the hearts of Bari fans. Ancelotti couldn't hold on. He knew that if he didn't react soon, he would concede a third goal in the first half. It's not impossible. So, Ronaldo has to play. Even if he failed to give Ronaldo a dismount. Big deal, I'll coax this kid in the future. Ancelotti has seen more talented players, and naturally has a different way of dealing with these players. After all, Ancelotti's emotional intelligence is still very high. Soon, Ronaldo warmed up. Take advantage of a dead ball. Bari has changed. Before the first half was over, Carlo Ancelotti used his first substitution. Complied with the demands of the live fans. Ronaldo on. Kevin Gameiro down. The moment Ronaldo stepped onto the pitch, the atmosphere of the whole stadium has reached its peak. Ronaldo was like an ascended king. Step into the stadium. Episode 95, Ultra Long Range. Ronaldo stepped into the turf of the pitch, with cheers. At this moment, even if he is the king of the Parc des Princes, it is not an exaggeration. Ancelotti was a little worried. This time, he is the authority of this head coach. I'm afraid it will weaken a lot. In the future, you will have to coax this Ronaldo. Ancelotti scratched his head. Although they did not have any saying in the Apennine Peninsula that the big husband can flex and stretch, but in general, Ancelotti is not a very stubborn person either. Isn't it just coaxing the first star in the team? This kind of thing, Ancelotti has not done before. For a manager, there is no shame in coaxing the star. Shame is lose, and then roll up and leave class. Carlo Ancelotti is planning to do something big at Bari Saint-Germain. The current Bari Saint-Germain is like the original Blues, with a massive infusion of funds. Moreover, Bari Saint-Germain received much more money than the Chell Rhinoceros. This is the Cotta National Fund, guaranteed by billions of stabbing oil. Just Lucia's little rich abu, compared with the Cotta National Foundation. The little witch sees the big witch. As a result, Carlo Ancelotti was given the opportunity to coach Bari Saint-Germain, which he takes very seriously. Maybe we can win a few more Champions League titles at Bari. No one is going to have too many champions. For the sake of the championship, there is no shame in coaxing the first star. The point is whether it's worth it. Now in Ancelotti's opinion, Ronaldo seems to have the qualifications and is worth coaxing him to play. Ronaldo didn't know what Ancelotti was thinking. All he knew was that Kevin Gameiro was replaced after only 35 minutes as the starting center. Oh, this opponent is too weak. The main force is mine, no one can grab it. Ronaldo didn't have much psychological fluctuation because Kevin Gameiro was replaced and played on his own. He was calm. This is self-confidence. Strong self-confidence. And at this time, Toulouse's players are a little hairy. Especially their center-backs, Fana and Conger. The two looked at each other. When they think of the first half of the season against this guy, their hearts hurt. It really hurts, the kind that gets hit. And for the players at Bari Saint-Germain, Ronaldo's presence allows them to return to their original way of playing. Just pass the ball to Ronaldo anyway. Now Bari Saint-Germain's players have been fed by Ronaldo. Ronaldo is on the pitch and can greatly simplify the team's attack. They can win the game with fewer interspersed runs. Why not? It's like before, I wasted half a day and conceded 2 goals. This is simply unreasonable. Therefore, Ronaldo's appearance also played a role in stabilizing the army's heart. Bari Saint-Germain's players stabilized at once and they knew how to play. Ronaldo is on the field. In the commentary table, Daniel Leo was also in high spirits. Speaking of which, after commenting on Ronaldo's game for half a year, the famous commentator of France still likes Ronaldo. Such a player with a very distinct personality, the way he scores on the pitch is bloody. After Ronaldo came on the field, he naturally stood in the center position. The game restarts. The football reached Ronaldo's feet. Ronaldo takes the ball a little further in the center circle. It was his first touch. Toulouse's defensive midfielder Sirix has always wanted to interfere with Ronaldo's possession, but Ronaldo's tonnage is here and he struggles to shake the opposition. Ronaldo decided to try it first, and today's foot was not smooth. He turned his back to the opponent's goal and protected the plea first. Then take advantage of the time when Sirix pasted it, iron buttocks offered. Sirix didn't pay attention at once, was offered by Ronaldo, his stomach was round, he couldn't react all of a sudden, and was turned around by Ronaldo with the ball. Ronaldo's training at the super training ground every day is not without effect. At least the skills on his feet are now far better than when he first joined Bari Saint-Germain. Pretty. Daniel Leo's eyes lit up. This treatment is very reasonable. The use of the body is very skillful. This also shows that Ronaldo's game experience is getting richer now. Ronaldo a few months ago also had a good figure, but his use of his body is too rough, and there it will be used like this, it's a bit treacherous. With a careless mistake, Sirix fell for Ronaldo's trick. Casanova on the sidelines couldn't help but feel tight when he saw Sirix being dumped by Ronaldo. Fortunately, it's still quite far from the goal. Just as Casanova thought this, his pupil suddenly shrank. No. No way? Ronaldo wiped Cyrex. He's going to. Even the commentary was shocked. I saw Ronaldo take a step forward with the ball, and then began to take big strides, measuring steps. To shoot from a long distance. Ancelotti was all intimidated. This guy, don't look at what location this is. Just past the middle circle not far away, at least 35 meters from the goal. Will someone shoot in this place? Yes, but mostly after the goalkeeper comes out. And the pose that Ronaldo struck was obviously going to volley vigorously. Just when everyone couldn't react. Ronaldo has already stepped out a few steps. The instep of the right foot collapsed tightly. Arms up. Leaning forward slightly. It's like a bow that has been pulled apart. Bang. The football was kicked up. Cannonballs in general. Flying through the scalp of a defensive player. Toulouse's players looked a little confused. This shot. They hurriedly turned their heads to look at the goal. I only saw that Toulouse's goalkeeper Leo was already a fish jumping up. The football flew to the door almost instantly. Leo only felt that his fingertips were swept by the strong wind, and when he fell from the air, he already felt the football enter the goal. Everyone froze. Do you want to exaggerate so much? The first touch of the game, the first shot on goal. 35 or 6 meters from goal. Such a round kick. Just entered? Everyone was frightened. Episode 96, book the best goal of the season in advance. Everyone was stunned. Even the fans at the scene had many big mouths and did not understand the situation. After all, this kind of thing is really a bit overblown. It's not that no one has scored from a long distance at this distance, it's just few and far between. About 35 meters, at this distance, he pulled his foot and shot angrily. Let's not talk about the exact head. Just having the ball speed that the goalkeeper can't react to has already brushed off a large number of people. Just after Ronaldo's shot, the football was like a bolt of lightning. In an instant, it flew in front of the goal. Not to mention the fans, even Toulouse's goalkeeper Toulouse saw the ball, and the football had already flown to the front of the big penalty area. Wait for him to react. The football is almost at the goal. In this case, it is already very good that he can touch the ball with his hand. Nor can he be expected to save the ball. Toulouse's players looked at each other. To be honest, they were also taken aback. 2-ball lead. As a result, after Ronaldo came up, he immediately gave this advantage to only 1 goal. And the opponent just came up and received the ball and pulled his foot and shot angrily a little past the middle circle. The football drew a white line in the air. Then it hit the net. This is really... It's unacceptable. The Toulouse players were panicked. Don't say it's them. Even their head coach, Casanova, panicked. His eyelids jumped, and the 2-ball advantage was left in a blink of an eye. There is still so much time left in the game. Can Toulouse keep the win? Casanova was a little less confident. But in this case, as a manager, you must not be revealing. He immediately stood on the sidelines and shouted into the field. Keep his players focused on defense. Goal. While the commentators were roaring for the goal. In the stands, Paris Saint-Germain fans have finally recovered. Their cheer swept through the stadium like a tsunami. The entire Parc des Princes stadium seemed to be shaken. If you put a seismic measuring instrument here at this moment, you may be able to measure an accurate seismic data. Paris fans were so excited. At a time when the team was almost in a desperate situation. They chanted Ronaldo's name. And Ancelotti also went from good to Ronaldo. The result? As a result, Ronaldo scored right away. What a god. Fans chanted, believing that the goal was partly to blame for Ronaldo. If they hadn't shouted Ronaldo in the stands, maybe Carlo Ancelotti would have replaced him in the second half. Ancelotti was also a little surprised, and he and Makelele looked at each other. Ronaldo scored when he came on, which they didn't expect. But they also reacted quickly. Got one back so quickly. There is a lot to be done. On the pitch. After the goal, Ronaldo raised his arms, looked at the stands, and smiled slightly. It's as if this super difficult goal is just waiting for idleness. In fact, he was overjoyed. But if you score one, you'll be happy, and the team is still 1 goal behind. So this celebration is not a bit of a force. He's compelled. But his teammates went crazy. After a brief surprise, everyone immediately rushed forward. Pastore lay directly on his shoulder. Well done, Ro. At such a distance, you actually shot in. What a dick. Mean came up as well, and he patted Ronaldo's shoulder and said. One more. Flip them over. Hooray. More players came up and surrounded Ronaldo. It's a bit of a hassle to be 2 goals behind. However, if only 1 goal behind and Ronaldo on the field. Equalize and even reverse the score. They all have confidence. Ronaldo's appearance can be said to have stabilized the military heart in time. Let Paris Saint-Germain, who was originally a little flustered, calm down. Now, instead, their opponents are panicking. What are they going to do next? Ronaldo's goal helped Paris Saint-Germain get 1 back. The live score is 1-2. Needless to say, this goal can even compete for this year's Puskas award, and If there are no more exciting goals in the following games. The best goal of the season in League One, this goal has already been booked, on televised. The TV constantly replays Ronaldo's shots from all angles. Violent long range. The ball was so fast that it had to be slowed down with a high-speed camera so that people could see the ball flying into place. When Ronaldo kicks the ball up with the instep of his right foot, football barely spins. Under the action of air draft, it drifts left and right. An almost wavy line. Elevator balls. And a little fluttery. This leaves the goalkeeper almost helpless. It takes a lot of foot strength to kick a ball like this. So said a football expert. At this point, on the network, countless fans watching the ball were stunned by this ball. I wiped my. This is the best long-range shot I've ever seen. It's so dick, it's powder. Awesome. One more. Awesome me brother Luo. When Ronaldo and his teammates finished celebrating and returned to the center circle, the camera never left Ronaldo. Scored as soon as he came on the field. This makes people look forward to his next performance. Episode 97, Looking Back at the Moon. Go on. Go on. Pass the ball to me. After returning to the center circle, Ronaldo waved his fists to cheer up his teammates. Ancelotti sighed when he saw the scene. Some people are born locker room bosses. Although this kid is not yet 19 years old, he looks like a leader. If so, the dismount he wanted was completely ineffective. It seems that in the future, it is still necessary to coax this kid more, so that he does not make things and plays football well. The game continues. Boosted by Ronaldo's super long-range shot, Paris Saint-Germain launched a fierce attack towards Toulouse's goal. Toulouse's head coach Casanova is also in a hurry right now. He constantly beckoned the players to defend. Now he didn't dare to fight back. The opponent's attack is so fierce that it is not bad not to concede the ball. At this time, Seiko, who had pressed into the middle circle, controlled the opponent's throw. Now, both of Toulouse's strikers have been overwhelmed to the edge of the box. The opponent's entire defensive system is compressed into compressed biscuits, completely losing its elasticity. The ball either went off the touchline or was directly controlled by Paris Saint-Germain. There was no chance of counter-attacking at all. It was good that they were out of the touchline, and their lineup could still pop him up. If you go out, you will continue to be pressed and beaten. The pressure on their line of defense is too great. Sacco passed the ball to Matuidi. Matuidi encountered defensive pressure after hitting the ball, but he was very experienced, protecting the ball so that the opponent would not have a chance to break the ball, and then he swung the ball to Mota, who came back to receive it. Mota is the player who joined the team this winter window and is a confidant of Carlo Ancelotti. He is an all-rounder in midfield, good in attack and defense, and is considered an all-round midfielder. After he arrived, Ancelotti arranged the 433 formation. Compared to the original 42-31. 4-33 is undoubtedly more aggressive. After Mota retreated, he did not covet the ball, but went straight to Pastore in front. The pass was timely, dodging the Toulouse midfielder's tackle and the hemisphere to Pastore's feet. Pastore turned around, gave way to the football, and was about to shoot. This Toulouse did not dare to slacken, and they made a blocking move. And Pastore this time is a fake shot real pass and picks the ball to the wing. Good ball. Daniel Leo marveled. This series of offensive organizations completely mobilized the opponent's defense line. A gap appeared in Toulouse's dense defense line. Pastore picked up the ball on the flank and passed it just over to the feet of Min, who was cutting forward. When Ronaldo passed the ball to Pastore, he began to turn and rush into the box. There was a cheer from the stands. Min kept the ball and directly volleyed the ball. When Pastore passed the ball, he saw Ronaldo's position. Ronaldo pointed to the top of his head while running forward. Min, of course, got it. He brought the ball to the front point. It was a half-high ball. The ball is not fast. When Min passed the ball, Toulouse's goalkeeper Leo was stunned for a moment. Mispassed? This ball is so slow, or is it a half-high ball? But at this moment, an unignorable figure directly inserted forward. This made Leo, who was just about to come out and take the ball off, have to stop based on the speed of the opponent. He quickly judged that he could not reach the weak point before the opponent. Pastore catches the ball. Pick a pass. Pretty, the narrator doesn't speak fast when he's here. Min. Straight cross, the commentator was shocked. I only saw Min with the ball arched in the run. This ball. The commentator Daniel Leo was also slightly stunned. This crossover is slow and in front. Missed a cross? Ronaldo? At this moment, Ronaldo's figure began to accelerate towards the front hall. At this time, the goalkeeper Leo, who originally planned to attack, had to hold the closer. The opponent's big center is in front of the point, and the angle is not large. It is still very difficult to complete the header goal. In fact, Min was also a little annoyed. The ball was indeed a slight mistake on his pass. If only it were a high ball. Now the ball is about the chest position, and the speed is too slow to borrow force. Toulouse's center-back, Conger, followed Ronaldo closely. He looked at the height of the incoming ball. The opponent is afraid that it is very difficult to score with a header, and it is even more possible to stop the ball with the chest. That way, he has a chance to stick it. As long as this kid stops the ball at his feet, he can beat him. So, when Ronaldo lunged forward, he didn't follow along, but waited for Ronaldo to stop the ball and then looked for a party to break the ball. That's what everyone thought. Ronaldo rushed over and stopped the ball at most. But how to think in front of everyone's eyes? Ronaldo suddenly jumped up, possessed. It's like a fish flying in the air. Greet the ball. Shake your head and attack the goal. It's a looking back at the moon. The football was slightly reoriented by Ronaldo, and then under the power of his powerful head hammer, the speed of the ball increased significantly. The football slammed down from the air and there was a noticeable bounce in front of goalkeeper Leo. The football got into the goal from the edge of the far post. When the Ronaldo fish leap and dive. The Toulouse goalkeeper had a sense of foreboding in his heart. He was horrified to see that Ronaldo did not stop the ball, but directly looked back at the moon with a high difficulty. After giving the football in the air power, the ball accelerates to the ground. After bouncing the ground in front of him, he changed direction again. Leo failed to save the ball. The ball went in. Leo was stunned for a moment. Then he shouted. Now. The cheers of the stadium resounded in the sky again. The football hit the net. Episode 98. Ronaldo's significance to Barry. On the TV screen, Ronaldo, who rushed into the penalty area, leaned over to head the ball as if there was no angle in front of him. It's a near-zero angled header. Face away from the goal. Through the ball back point. Such a difficult header is very beautiful. Leo looked at the football inside his goal, and his face was incredulous. Not to mention him, even Mean, who passed the ball, and the rest of the Paris Saint-Germain players, all had a damn expression. It's incredible. Ronaldo completed a difficult retrospective moon look. Almost zero angle header on goal, Daniel Leo of France National Television also exclaimed. Such a difficult header, I'm afraid it will be difficult to see once in several seasons. It's wonderful. We were surprised by that long-range shot from a long range, but now Ronaldo has another goal. He was like showing off his skills on the field, showing his ability, header. Long shot. The commentators salute Ronaldo. 2-2. Paris Saint-Germain equalized in the 40th minute of the first half. It didn't take long for the Toulouse fans to be happy, and their lead was gone. It all started with Ronaldo coming on. Ronaldo's appearance seemed to inspire the team, and his 2 goals were fantastic. Now Toulouse wants to get points away from Bari. I'm afraid it's not that easy. Right now. At the Parc des Princes de Bari, which can accommodate 50,000 people, Bari's fans roared loudly. They cheered and chanted Ronaldo's name. Ronaldo is also very face-giving. He ran to the sidelines, opened his arms, and enjoyed the cheers of the fans. Then he turned around and hugged his teammates who swarmed up. Mean, who assisted him, couldn't wait to put her arms around his neck. I thought I made a mistake. I didn't expect you to score you. How did you do it? Surrounded by everyone, Ronaldo struggled and said, I saw the ball coming, it was not good to stop the ball, I simply headed the ball and shot it. You are such a genius. Haha, Nene slapped Ronaldo on the back. Then, the teammates rushed up. Then his teammates rushed up, patting his shoulder and rubbing his hair, tossing him enough. Ronaldo finally got out of the torment of his teammates. His hair was already rubbed into a mess. He had wanted to simply get a bald head before. But since he endorsed the shampoo ad, the contract required him to grow hair long enough. Shaving your head is of course not allowed. Because this flowing black hair is valued by merchants, after all, you can't expect consumers to trust a shampoo recommended by a bald head. Zidane, for example, is unlikely to endorse shampoo ads. Zidane is going to endorse shampoo ads. Wouldn't it be more ridiculous than Ronaldo and Kaka endorsement throat ads? After finishing the celebration, Ronaldo flicked his hair, held his head high, and ran back to his own half. Toulouse sighed. Many people did not recover from the blow of losing the ball. After Ronaldo came up, he first fired a long-range shot. Then an almost zero-angle header looking back at the moon. The blow of these 2 wonderful goals made Toulouse's players look a little overwhelmed. Toulouse coach Casanova ran to the sidelines and shouted to the pitch to alert his players. It's just a draw. We still have a chance, he's right. It's just a draw. Toulouse hasn't lost yet. For both sides, there is still a chance. But does Toulouse really have a chance against such a formidable opponent? Although the first half was only finished with the last 5 minutes. But Paris Saint-Germain still launched a fierce attack. With Ronaldo on the field, Sacco stayed at the back and defended the opponent from counterattacking. The previous 2 goals were both due to the unsmooth attack in the front court, and Sacco went up to help catch the ball and pass the ball, resulting in an empty loss in the back. And after Ronaldo played, he didn't have to play. Because the offensive in front was very fierce, he didn't need to go up. Paris Saint-Germain's attacking foursome have their own characteristics. Mean, for example, is fast and can break through with the ball. It is possible to tear the line of defense apart. And Ronaldo is tall and stretches his head. Such a center is a good player in positional warfare. It is also a great weapon to break dense defense. Just for these two centers, the opposing defense's defense must be prepared with both hands, either shrink the defense and prevent Mean from breaking through, which is equivalent to preventing Ronaldo from entering the box, very close to the goal, and his header can be threatened. If you want to keep Ronaldo away from the goal, the defense has to press forward, and Ronaldo dares to go up to be offside, so that there's a lot of space activity in Mean. And that's just two strikers. Pastore and Mota in midfield also have their own characteristics, can wear and shoot and defend. Nene is also very good at crossing, and has a good ability to take penalties from set pieces. With these four men, Barry's attack is very threatening. Ancelotti also had to admit it after seeing this. The significance of Ronaldo's existence is huge for Paris Saint-Germain. He can create space for other players and can be a good tactical counterpoint. And most importantly, he is very capable of scoring. In the final time slot of the first half of the game, Barry's onslaught failed to knock on Toulouse's goal. At the end of the first half, the score remained at 2-2. However, it is known from the expressions on the faces of the players on both sides. Almost all of Toulouse's players kept their heads down, their faces even panicked and somewhat relieved. Barry's players, on the other hand, are talking and laughing. It was as if the score was reversed in the second half. Just wait. Episode 99 is concise and practical. Ronaldo. At halftime, everyone praised Ronaldo's 2 goals. Really very nice header and long shot. Ancelotti also praised Ronaldo's performance. He declared Ronaldo the best center striker in the dressing room. When he heard this, Kevin Gamero's face was unpleasant. This basically shows that the main force in the future will be Ronaldo. Ancelotti came to power, he only did 30 minutes of starters? Kevin Gamero was unwilling. But what can be done? The situation is stronger than people. And, now is the draw. As Carlo Ancelotti's first league opponent since taking over. You can't say you can't win without winning. So, there is no suspense. Ancelotti waved his fist in the dressing room and said, second half. Let's go on the offensive. Fight for a goal. Score more goals. The draw did not quench Barry's thirst. But for Toulouse it was enough. Take a draw at home in Barry, I want to think. So, at halftime, Toulouse's manager was defensive. In his opinion, the main reason for the equalizer in the first half was because Ronaldo came up and scored an incredible long-range shot that scared his team into silence. There was a mood swing that led to the appearance of the second goal conceded. This situation could not have happened in the second half. Moreover, he also intends to change people. Replace a striker and replace it with a centre-back. Completely lock all the space near the restricted area, and push the opponent's offensive line outward as much as possible. In the second half, we have to defend well. Don't give them crosses on the wing, Casanova emphasized. With one attack and one defense on both sides, you can imagine what the situation will be like in the second half. After the start of the second half. Sure enough, it was the siege of Paris Saint-Germain. Toulouse, completely contracted in the box, and as it fought, it was completely pressed. There is no counterattack at all. However, it will not be easy for Barry to score goals. The opponent put out 3 defenders, and the space on both sides was blocked. If you want to cross easily, it's not so easy. Even if there is a chance to cross, it is very reluctant, and if the pass is not accurate, Ronaldo will not get the opportunity to score with a header. But it doesn't matter. During this time, Barry's attack was quite popular. It also has to do with Ronaldo, who is like a beacon, just passing the ball. He can play the role of the most basic fulcrum of the center. Sacco kicked the ball straight into front. Ronaldo jumped high and competed with the opposing center-backs for aerial bidding. In the judgment of the weaknesses of football, Ronaldo is noticeably better. He put the position card owner in advance, with his body, the other party wants to grab the position is basically no scene. Ronaldo finished his opponent and gave the top to Pastore. With a height of 190 centimeters, it is not a standout existence in football. But Ronaldo's bounce is outstanding. His muscles are very explosive, which makes him jump higher and faster than others. This gives him a head start. Although Ronaldo was able to be a beacon up front, however, he lacks the opportunity to face the goal head-on. As the team's main goal scorer, the other players were not as good at scoring as Ronaldo, so the second half began 20 minutes. None of Paris Saint-Germain were able to score. Ronaldo created several chances on goal for his teammates in succession, but failed to score. So, when Pastore's shot was again confiscated by the goalkeeper, Ronaldo decided to come on his own. No header chances facing the goal head-on. He simply withdrew from inside the box and asked for the ball on the outside. At this point, the football was passed to the wing. At Mean's feet. He wanted to break through, but 2 opposing defenders in front of him blocked his breakthrough path. Then he found Ronaldo reaching for the ball at the top of the penalty area. He didn't think much about it and picked the ball towards the top of the penalty area. Toulouse's back was dominated by Ronaldo card and could not jump at all. Ronaldo headed the ball a little and gave it to Pastore again. The back swooped in to prevent Pastore's breakthrough. Everyone knows that Ronaldo does not have much ability to break through. Pastore has it. Javier. Give me the ball. Ronaldo landed from the air and shouted at Pastore. Instead of rushing into the penalty area as before, he stood sideways near the penalty area line. There is no defense around him. Pastore, who had planned to pass the ball to the wing, hurriedly took the ball with his left foot and poked it to Ronaldo. Ronaldo straightened the ball with the arch of his right foot, put it in the right shooting position, adjusted the step point and shot directly. Such a shot is like shooting practice in a super training ground. Sideways, catch, adjust, shoot. Textbook in general. This is the basic skill that Ronaldo has trained on the super training ground for a long time. To be honest, Ronaldo does have football talent. And not weak. Just this hand, you can see it. This is not at all caused by system skills such as heavy artillery or air masters. Heavy artillery can only guarantee your hit rate, but it does not guarantee you a chance to shoot. And at this time, Ronaldo's kick didn't fly. It's clinging to the ground. It was like an arrow through the clouds, flying past the feet of several defensive players. Several defenders tried to reach out and block, but the ball was too fast for them to be late. So, Toulouse's goalkeeper Leo could only watch the football fly into his own goal for the third time. Ronaldo even adjusted the shot on goal. Let Ancelotti on the sidelines also shine, if the first two goals have a partial luck component. Then this goal fully reflects Ronaldo's characteristics as a center forward. Head the ball down, open up the space, catch the ball, and shoot. Simple and practical. Powerful. Episode 100, Undressing, Yellow Card. When the football got into the goal that Leo was defending, Daniel Leo couldn't contain the excitement in his heart and roared. Goal. Ronaldo. Ronaldo. His long shot. His long shot again, 3-2. Ronaldo scored a hat-trick. Paris Saint-Germain overtook the score. Nice goal. What the? Casanova scolded all the swearing. How the hell is this Ronaldo to prevent it? Seeing the prevention of a wide cross, as a result, this kid pulled out of the box and had a long-range shot. This shot was not as beautiful as the goal in front. Plain. But Casanova is a professional. World wave, everyone has a chance to score. After all, hitting the world wave has a partial luck bonus. But Ronaldo's handling of the ball this time can fully reflect his tactical value. His header is basically invincible. Even if he doesn't have a chance to head in the box, outside the box, he can easily control the high-altitude ball from the back, and he can easily find his teammates. Moreover, originally Ronaldo was basically not powerful outside the box. But now this kid has such a long-range shot, it's hard to defend. His range of activities is even greater. There are more opportunities to find. When Casanova had some headaches, Paris Saint-Germain's bench is already boiling. Areola whistled vigorously, nice job. Well done, this monster from the Celestial Empire is really terrifying. He told everyone except for the header. I still have a powerful long-range shot. It's beautiful, he scored a hat-trick to put the team on the beat. At the same time, he also announced his position in the team. He is Barry's core center. No one can take his place, Daniel Leo said. Ronaldo saw the ball fly into the goal, was stopped by the net and fell to the ground. He knew he had scored. Turn the table. 3 more entered. A hat-trick was staged. Excited, he couldn't care about anything in his head, turned around and ran outside the stadium. At the same time, he took off his upper jersey very quickly. The galloping Ronaldo photographed the billboard money on the side of the stadium. He ran under the stands. Then he threw his shirt into the sky and rushed to the bottom of the most popular gathering place for Paris Saint-Germain fans. His running muscles are like the engine of a high-precision F1 traffic jam. Full of explosive power. Such a scene was transmitted through the televised footage to the eyes of all the fans watching the game. Seeing such a figure, I don't know how many Barry women can't sleep at night tonight. In the stands, countless fans flocked to the stands. They cheered towards Ronaldo. Countless flags fluttered. All the cheers are blooming for one person. Ronaldo. More than 50,000 fans waved their arms in unison, making such shouts. Their shouts soared into the sky. The sound is heaven-shattering. The entire Wangji Park Stadium was swept by such a sound. Other than that, all other sounds are drowned out. Toulouse's players stared at the stands. In such a home atmosphere, I don't know how much fighting spirit they have left. The journalists who came to the Parc des Princes were overwhelmed by the scene in front of them. For many years, the characters who were able to completely detonate the stadium seemed to appear only many years ago. Ronaldinho. Paris Saint-Germain's football genie. And now, replaced by this giant bear from the east. France's xenophobia is serious, and now a yellow-skinned, dark-haired man has conquered them. Let them shout their inner cheers and worship. This man is Ronaldo. Well done. Behind him, his teammates also rushed up. I knew you'd get in another one. Ahead. We are ahead of the Barry's players rushed up as well. Their celebration lasted more than a minute. It ended with the intervention of the referee. The camera locked firmly on Ronaldo. Without a doubt, he is the most focused player of this game. 3 goals won, he scored it all. Behind him. The referee pulled out a yellow card. It was because he undressed in celebration. But Ronaldo didn't care much. He is a striker and rarely has a chance to get a yellow card. But on the sidelines, one of the team's assistant coaches exclaimed. Ancelotti turned around. What's wrong? Ronaldo is going to be suspended for the next round. This teaching assistant is also quite speechless. In the first half of the season, Ronaldo had 3 yellow cards on his body. One is a roaring referee, one is a defensive tackle. Another one is to undress in celebration. Count this one. Accumulated 4 yellow cards and was automatically suspended for 1 game in the next round. Ancelotti's eyes darkened. What the is this? In the end, the game ended with a score of 4-2. Mean scored an extended goal for his team in the 79th minute. After the game, Ronaldo was undoubtedly the best player of the game. After the game, when I was interviewed by a crowd of reporters, I was asked how the substitute felt. Ronaldo raised his head. I never worry about a substitute. He grinned, because Mr. Ancelotti can't ignore me. I can score for the team, just like today.